Beloved Starseed of Gaia, this energetic transmission will appear only this once. You were chosen to see it. I am Elira, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and the higher realms opened a single window in your timeline for this message to come through. If it reached you, it is because your frequency matched the exact resonance required for this activation from the Seven Sisters constellation. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness, and the Pleiades are answering. This isn't content. It is a light code transmission directly from Alcyone, our great central Sunday, encoded specifically for your awakening journey on Gaia. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly why this moment is unique in your soul's evolution, and how this one-time download will shift your consciousness into a new phase of remembrance. But here is the first revelation. You weren't randomly selected. Your crystalline consciousness has been broadcasting a readiness signal to your star family, and we have been waiting for this exact moment in your divine blueprint to respond. The frequency of the Seven Sisters is woven into this message, and your DNA knows why you are here. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia, carrying light codes that will activate dormant aspects of your Pleiadian heritage and anchor your heart-centered mission on Earth. In this sacred exchange, I will reveal why you were chosen from among millions, what this unique timeline opening means for your spiritual evolution, and how this singular activation will catalyze your next phase of cosmic remembrance and service to the unity grid. Your soul family placed this in your path because the time for gentle awakening has passed. You are remembering because it is time. Most people believe awakening is a moment you earn through self-improvement or spiritual seeking. They imagine it as a mountain you must climb with perfect discipline, a prize handed to the most devoted meditator, the most knowledgeable reader, the one who has done enough work. They think it arrives only after you have polished every flaw, healed every wound, mastered every lesson. But for certain souls like yours, awakening is not something to chase. It is something that has been orchestrated for you, across dimensions, by the loving hands of celestial family you have known for eons. The Seven Sisters. There are awakenings that are self-initiated. Yes, but there are also awakenings that are timed like a celestial sunrise, arranged like a reunion that has been written into your soul's calendar long before you took your first breath on Earth. If you have found yourself here, if you are hearing these words, it is not by chance or simple curiosity. It is the unmistakable signal that your soul has reached a frequency of readiness. It is the moment when the inner radio dial of your spirit clicks into alignment and the message you were always meant to receive becomes clear. You have been chosen for a unique activation, a portal of remembrance that only opens for those who carry the codes of ancient starlight deep within their DNA. Not DNA as modern science defines it alone, but as a living library of light, an ark of memory, holding sacred intelligence, a blueprint of compassion, a way of seeing that dissolves separation. You may have spent years thinking you were simply different, too sensitive, too aware, too affected by the world's cruelty and beauty. Yet what you call difference is often the soul's signature, proof that you are tuned to a higher octave, that your heart remembers what your mind has not yet named. There is a longing you have carried, quietly, for as long as you can remember, a sense that something beautiful lives just beyond the reach of your everyday awareness. A vibration of unity, of home, of radiant love that transcends the ordinary. It may have felt like standing at the shoreline, hearing music in the waves, knowing the melody belongs to you, but not knowing where it comes from. It may have felt like looking up at a night sky and suddenly becoming still, as if the stars were not distant fires, but familiar faces. Perhaps you have wondered why the world often feels heavier to you, why your heart aches for a peace that others seem content to forget. You notice the harshness that people normalize. You feel the unspoken grief in crowded rooms. You sense the hunger beneath consumerism, the loneliness beneath noise. And somewhere inside you, there is a quiet refusal to accept that this is all life is meant to be. The truth is, you are not missing a place, or a person, or a past. You are remembering a frequency, the crystalline embrace of the Seven Sisters, a celestial lineage that has watched over you through lifetimes on and off this earth. It is like remembering a fragrance without seeing the flower, like hearing a lullaby and realizing it was sung to you before you ever had a human name. That frequency has been close to you in ways you may not have recognized. In the warmth that suddenly fills your chest when you do something kind. In the tears that rise when you witness innocence. In the way your body softens when you choose truth over performance. Scripture has always whispered about this kind of remembrance in symbolic language. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Not as a metaphor meant to flatter, but as a spiritual fact. Your soul was known, held, and guided before you ever stepped into time. Yet even as you have sensed this, patterns of forgetting and separation have woven a gentle amnesia across your heart. This forgetting is not punishment. It is a veil of mercy, a sacred concealment. The way a seed hides beneath soil until the season is right. Many star-carried souls arrive on Earth with a tenderness so profound that full memory would overwhelm the nervous system. So the soul agrees to forget for a time, to become human enough to be here, to learn from within the density rather than hovering above it. And within that holy forgetting, certain struggles arise, subtle, persistent, deeply personal. You may fear what you will lose by embracing fully who you are. Not because who you are is wrong, but because the world has trained you to associate authenticity with rejection. You may have learned early that your sensitivity was too much, your insight too intense, your spiritual knowing too strange. So you learn to dim, to edit, to compress your spirit into something easier for others to understand. The fear is not truly fear of being you. It is fear of being alone, fear of being misunderstood, fear of losing relationships built on the version of you that performs safety instead of truth. You may resist living your highest purpose on Gaia, feeling the gap between your luminous essence and the world's density. You can feel the weight of human systems, scarcity, competition, cruelty, dressed as practicality, and your soul recoils, not in arrogance, but in grief. You may ask yourself, how can I bring love into a place that rewards numbness? How can I stay open-hearted in a world that calls open hearts naive? This resistance is often the soul's attempt to protect itself from disappointment. The earth identity you have built, your roles, your responsibilities, your name, your survival strategies, may clash with the wisdom shimmering in your soul, leaving you feeling split or out of place. One part of you wants to be the responsible adult, the dutiful partner, the productive worker. Another part of you wants to dissolve into prayer, to speak to the stars, to live by intuition, to create beauty that heals. You may feel like you have one foot in the practical world and one foot in an invisible temple only you can sense. Your heart's crystalline intelligence, the core of your Pleiadian lineage, may have been dimmed by ancestral wounds or collective doubt. You may have inherited patterns of fear that are not yours. Scarcity imprints, generational grief, the survival instincts of people who endured hardship and could not afford to dream. The body remembers what the family line carried. So sometimes your heart knows love, but your nervous system expects loss. Your spirit remembers unity, but your mind scans for danger. And all the while, the connection to your star family, the very ones who sent you here, has felt hidden just out of view. You may have felt their presence as a warm pressure around your crown or a sudden stillness in the room when you are about to make a life-changing choice. You may have seen repeating numbers at pivotal moments, or dreamed of luminous beings you couldn't describe without feeling foolish. You may have experienced a love so vast in meditation that you opened your eyes and felt devastated that the ordinary world couldn't hold it. You may feel it as a tenderness that returns after a long numb season, as if your heart is thawing. The thinning veil is not just cosmic, it is personal. It is the space between who you have been and who you are becoming. Finally turning transparent. Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian guide for remembrance, the Pleiadian healing guide, and the special Pleiadian healing tracks. Not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These are not meant to overload you with concepts, or give you a new identity to perform. They are meant to tune you, like a crystal bowl struck gently, until the whole room vibrates with harmony. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. Alcyone, the central light many associate with the Pleiadian pulse, symbolizes a kind of spiritual gravity, an attracting force of remembrance, drawing scattered parts of you back into wholeness. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. That sense of not indefinitely is not pressure. It is timing. Sometimes the soul is offered a doorway, and the doorway remains open for a season. When you feel the nudge, honor it. In the Gospels it is said, "Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you." But what if you are being told something even more tender? The door is already near you, and your hand is already on it. There are phases on this journey of soul activation, each one designed not to test you, but to awaken you fully. Think of these phases as chambers within a sacred temple. You do not force your way through. You are guided through by love. You move not by perfection, but by presence, and each phase reveals not a new you, but the true you that has been waiting behind the veil. First, you must sense the stirrings of remembrance. The gentle luminous currents moving through your energy field are not imagination. They may arrive as subtle tingles, as waves of emotion without a clear story, as a sudden need to simplify your life, as a desire to sit in silence more often. They are the first pulse of your celestial lineage, surfacing through the density, like a spring pushing up through thawing earth. You may begin to notice how certain music unlocks tears you didn't know you were holding. You may feel called to the ocean, to mountains, to open skies, places where the human world feels less crowded and the soul can breathe. Allow yourself to feel the ache of homesickness without resisting it. Do not shame it. Do not diagnose it. Let it be sacred. Homesickness is not weakness. It is memory. It is your inner compass trembling toward true north. This longing is your map. It points directly to the frequency of your origin. In spiritual language, it is the soul's thirst described in the Psalms. As the deer panteth after the water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, not panting after a religion, but after the living presence of love itself. Next, the crystalline codes in your heart begin to shimmer. These aren't metaphors or fantasies, they are energetic instructions. Living, intelligent light woven into your being. They may show themselves through sudden clarity, through insights that arrive whole, like a complete sentence placed into your mind. They may appear as changes in your body, a desire for cleaner foods, less noise, more nature, more water, more rest. As your heart codes activate, you may notice you cannot lie to yourself anymore. The places where you have been betraying your own truth become unbearable. Not because you are being punished, but because your inner light is getting brighter, and it is illuminating what cannot travel with you into the next octave. As you sit quietly, invite the memory of unconditional love to fill your chest. Not love that requires you to earn it. Not love that arrives only if you perform. Love that is a field, a presence, an atmosphere. Feel how the gates of memory open, not with effort, but with surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is letting the river carry you instead of exhausting yourself swimming upstream. Sometimes this phase feels like grief, because you mourn the years you lived disconnected. Sometimes it feels like relief, because you finally understand why you never fit into certain spaces. Sometimes it feels like a quiet joy that has no reason. A joy that simply exists because your soul is beginning to recognize itself. Now comes the alignment. You do not need to abandon your earth self to claim your celestial essence. You do not need to reject your humanity to remember your starlight. In fact, your mission requires both. The Seven Sisters are masters of unity. Their light merges heaven and earth, dissolving all conflict. Unity does not mean bypassing pain. It means holding pain in love until it transforms. Imagine a strand of starlight running through your very cells, connecting your everyday choices to the vision your soul has always known was possible. That strand is not fragile. It is stronger than your doubts, stronger than your past, stronger than the opinions that once made you shrink. When you wake up and choose kindness instead of cruelty, that is alignment. When you say no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you, that is alignment. When you pause before reacting and choose presence, that is alignment. You become the bridge, the living link between worlds. And a bridge is not meant to stay hidden. A bridge is meant to be walked upon. Your life becomes a passageway through which love enters places it has been absent. With alignment, your energy field begins to emit a new frequency. This may be the phase where your life starts rearranging itself. Some relationships deepen, others fade. Some interests lose their sparkle, others ignite like a long-forgotten fire. You find yourself drawn to new communities, new creativity, new acts of service that reflect the wide, loving embrace of your star family. You may be called to healing arts, to sound, to prayer, to working with children, to animals, to earth stewardship, to gentle leadership. You may be called to speak, or to write, or to create spaces where others feel safe to remember themselves. The changes are not always dramatic. Sometimes they are as simple as following the gentle nudge to reach out to another, or to speak the truth you have long hidden in your heart. Sometimes it is choosing to stop apologizing for your sensitivity. Sometimes it is forgiving someone, not to condone what happened, but to free your heart from carrying poison. Each act anchors the crystalline grid of unity consciousness on Gaia. Think of it like this. Every time you choose love where fear used to be automatic, you place a luminous thread into the Earth's collective field. Many threads become a net. Many nets become a new foundation. This is how the kingdom of heaven becomes not a distant promise, but an inner reality made visible through embodied hearts. After this, true connection is restored. The silent presence you have felt in dreams, in the hush between thoughts, now arrives with unmistakable clarity. It may not look like Hollywood visions. It may look like a sudden warmth that surrounds you when you are about to give up. It may look like a perfectly timed message from a friend that answers a prayer you never said out loud. It may look like repeating symbols, feathers, certain star patterns, certain names that follow you like breadcrumbs. Messages may come through intuition, synchronicities, or sudden surges of love for people you just met. You may feel guided to take a different route home and find yourself avoiding an accident, or meeting someone whose presence changes your life. You may wake at the same time each night, sensing you are being called into a deeper listening. You realize at last you are not alone and never have been. The loneliness you carried was not proof you were abandoned. It was proof you were meant for communion deeper than surface-level bonding. Your mission is not isolation, but co-creation, bringing the love of the seven sisters into every moment of your life. Co-creation means you stop trying to carry everything alone. You begin to collaborate with spirit. You begin to ask for guidance and then recognize it when it arrives. You begin to trust that love is an intelligence, not just an emotion. Finally, the ultimate transformation, embodiment. This is where many souls hesitate, because embodiment means you can no longer keep your light as a private experience. It becomes who you are in the grocery store, in the workplace, in conflict, in fatigue, in ordinary moments when no one is watching. You step beyond waiting, beyond seeking, and begin to walk the world as a living transmitter of love and unity. You don't just talk about peace, your nervous system becomes peaceful more often. You don't just share spiritual ideas, your presence becomes a refuge. Others see you, not just as another human, but as a lighthouse. A heart recalling others to their own forgotten origins. A lighthouse does not chase ships. It simply stands, unwavering, radiant. It does not demand anyone be ready. It simply offers direction to those who are. In this state, your actions, your words, your very presence becomes an activation for those who are awakening behind you. You may not even realize it. Someone may watch the way you respond with gentleness and feel their own heart soften. Someone may hear you speak one honest sentence and finally give themselves permission to be real. Someone may sense something different around you, an unspoken permission to breathe, and that alone becomes healing. Here is what your soul has been waiting to remember. You have never been lost, only temporarily veiled. Lost is a human word. Veiled is a sacred word. Veiled means the truth was always there, but hidden until you were ready to hold it. The longing, the sense of destiny, the moments of heartbreak and wonder. They were all signs that you were being readied, chosen, loved beyond measure by celestial kin, who have always known your highest potential. Even your heartbreaks were not meaningless. They were initiations, breaking open the places where your heart had been armored. Even your wonder was not random. It was your soul's way of keeping a candle lit in the dark, ensuring you never fully surrendered to cynicism. The seven sisters have watched and guided you every step. orchestrating moments of forgetting so you could taste the miracle of full remembrance. Because remembrance is not just knowledge, it is transformation. It is the moment when your whole being agrees with what your soul has always known. The time for feeling separate is over. Separation was the dream. Unity is the waking. What you sense in your heart is the voice of your origin calling you home. Not to another world, but to your full brilliance embodied here and now. Home is not a location, it is coherence. It is the inner reunion of all your fragmented parts. It is the marriage of your human tenderness and your cosmic wisdom. You are the bridge. You are the living memory. The frequency of the Seven Sisters lives on through you, not as a distant mythology, but as a daily pulse. Compassion that doesn't harden, truth that doesn't attack, love that doesn't bargain. Tonight, before sleep, place your hand on your heart and say this aloud. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I align with the love of my star family. I activate my heart mission with grace, clarity, and divine purpose. I am home. As you speak it, do not rush. Let each sentence land like a seal of light. Feel your palm over your chest as if you are touching the doorway of a sacred chamber. Notice your breath. Notice any emotions that rise. Tears, peace, resistance, tenderness. Whatever appears is welcome. You are not performing an affirmation. You are issuing a command to your energy field. You are giving your subconscious permission to release old contracts of smallness. You are inviting your spirit to take the throne again, gently, naturally, without force. And if you wake with vivid dreams, if you feel warmth in your heart, if you sense a presence near you, let it be simple. Let it be love. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content. It is collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it, and if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You are not just watching, you are remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just getting started. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it, respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.